Hello, how are things going?
Good
Anubhav,
evening,
go ahead.
participants. This is the fourth session of
Ah,
Cyclolsavam
Yes,
2020.
Mother.
In day 2,
right.
we will be having our guest soon and we will begin the session for the day as soon as possible. Thank you.
Anubhav, how are things progressing so far? Everything in order?
Yes, KK sir, everything is in order, everything is fine. We will
How
be
many
having our next
competitions
session.
are over? How many competitions are over now?
We have revealed the topic for essay writing competition in 3 languages English, Hindi, and Malayalam.
Okay.
The topics for other competitions will be revealed as soon as possible according to the schedule.
Was there any competition yesterday?
Yesterday, no.
No. Okay. Okay. So registration stand, people are participating, no? Is it
Yes, people are
increasing?
participating. Yes,
Very good. Very good. Very good.
the competitions are going well. We have started receiving the entries for the various competitions,
Okay.
especially essay writing, which we have revealed the topic during the session of our other guest of the other seminar.
Good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Good afternoon, all. We have the guest with us.
Ah, very good. Afin Nugudu.
Sir, you haven't connected your audio with the device.
Mhm. അതെ. Anubhav, is the Deepapi Governor there?
The speaker is here, but he hasn't connected his device with the audio yet. Yeah, yes, it is connected. So, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the second day of Cyclolsavam 2020. Here, after the presentation of a movie, we have the third session of the day, which is handled by Mrf Madubo, the bicycle mayor of Botswana, who is the international speaker of the day, who will share with us his experiences and about cycling and his relationship. Sir has also represented Africa. Sir has also represented in the Vision Zero for Africa conference early in December this year. So now move on to the international speaker. We have Murphy Dumbo. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, sir,
I'm
you're
pleased to
audible.
be part of this wonderful event. Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. You can start speaking, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm pleased to be part of this wonderful event to celebrate cycling around the world, being driven from our big home, India. I'm happy to be part of the movement. I'll be talking about cycling, as a vehicle for the future. And my address in particular is targeted towards amongst us, the younger generation, the youths, who are usually said to be the leaders of tomorrow. In terms of this topic of leaders of tomorrow, my view is that leadership is a thing that someone needs to take on a daily basis. So you don't have to say you wait for tomorrow to be.
Sir, I think the network connection at your place is getting interrupted in between. Mafi sir, can you hear me?
They are building a future. They need to be working also on themselves as leaders. And therefore, talking about cycling as a vehicle for the future. Yeah, the network here is very, very bad.
Sir, can you try speaking by turning off your video so you can save your data? Mafi sir, could you try by speaking with your video turned off so you could get a much more better or data connection? Sir, am I audible, sir?
Mafi, I have stopped your video. You can now talk. Maybe it will be audible now.
His audio is also turned off.
We can request him to.
Mafi, can you unmute your audio?
Yes, you can speak now, please.
Hello?
Please speak. Please speak.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Basically, my talk was about cycling as a vehicle for the future. Cycling as a vehicle for change. I'm happy to be part of this event, except the internet connectivity in my place here is relatively bad. It's disappointing. I've been battling it from yesterday, even in the morning. But I'm happy nonetheless to participate in this event. My address basically is targeted to the younger generation, the youth, as a way of encouraging them to really look at cycling as indeed that vehicle that can liberate the future. There's a saying that says youths or young people are leaders of tomorrow. My belief is that leadership doesn't have to wait for tomorrow. Even in that youth, I think the younger generation can play a critical leadership role in leading our countries on their lives. Taking now cycling as a vehicle for the future and the issue of leadership. It needs a daily engagement.
Sir, sorry for the interruption, sir. In between, your voice is also breaking, sir.
Practice makes
ഇവയുണ്ടോ?
So I regret to inform, sir, your voice is breaking. We will request the international speaker.
Connectivity is bad.
Sir, we request you to send a video of your session so that we can screen it later on.
I'll let me record and then send a voice.
Yes, sir. You can send a video to the email ID of Prakash ji.
Mafi, if video is not possible, you can send a voice message also. I think that will be easy to send.
Video is refusing.
So, not keeping the participants waiting, we will have a recorded session of the international speaker later on. The host will be taking care of the same. Now we will move on to the other speakers who are available with us. We have one of our members of Indo Cycling Embassy, a person who has been with us from the beginning and is a great supporter, a mentor, a teacher, a guide. We cannot just term him. I invite Krishna Kumar KK for interacting with the participants.
Okay, this is unexpected, but let us discuss a few issues. Interesting, I think you're all enjoying what's going on. This is extremely interesting for the first time in the country and probably in the world that during the COVID season, cycling enthusiasts are sitting together to celebrate. Deepa is also here, so I'll.
Yes, KK, we have Deepa, madam too, who is also the executive member of the Indus Cycling Embassy, who will speak along. We will have a talk session among KK and Deepa, madam.
Okay, I'll just mention a few words and then leave it to Deepa. I was just looking at some statistics. There are some interesting statistics, like, for example, how many cycles are in this world? This is important because how many of us are really interested in cycles in the world? There are something like 1 billion bicycles. The statistics is taken from 2016 to 2019, and even it stretches a little backward also. At present, there are something like 1 billion active cycles. This is the statistics. And out of this, more than half the cycles are in China. And so China is far ahead of various other nations in cycle use. India has a very bad statistics, poor statistics with regard to cycles, which means China has 8.06% more population than India. But if you look at the bicycle penetration, India figures stands at 90 units every 1,000 people. For every 1,000, there are only 90 cycles. And in China, there are something like 149 cycles for every 1,000 people. China clearly is far ahead of us. And not only that, for the last few years, number of cycles have been decreasing in China, production and use. What does this show? Cycle, as I mentioned in the inaugural session, cycle is not just a machine to cycle around or move around. It's much more than what it really seems to be. It's a symbol of many, many things. So it's the duty of all cycle enthusiasts to propagate cycling as a very important thing in the of the new era. If you are interested in the environment, you cannot ignore cycling. The amount, actually, we should present all these ideas. All those of us who are interested in cycling should start presenting these ideas in front of people, especially youngsters. How does environment get enriched by cycling? There are so many reasons. It's not just avoiding motorbikes and cars and avoiding pollution. It's much more than that. The energy saving that comes because of cycling. All kinds of short-term distance coverage should be done by cycling. The amount of fuel that we save, the health that we gain, all that has to be included. It's tremendous. We should not just be talking about this in seminar, but we should be actually explaining this in simple terms to youth, especially children. We are not interested in cycling simply because it's an interesting two-wheeled vehicle. We are interested because it's a symbol of environment protection. It's a symbol of sustainability. It's a symbol of equality. It's a symbol of, as our guest was saying, it's moving, it's taking us towards what you call the future. Cycling towards the future has several meanings. Unfortunately, during COVID season in Kerala, some statistics say that people are now buying more motor vehicles because they feel it is safer, and so we have to. Each one is taking loan and going for a cycle. So these are all simple things, but people like us who are interested in cycling should be talking about this in simple terms, how cycle is a symbol of sustainability. We should explain. There are at least 100 reasons why cycling is a symbol of sustainability. I will not elaborate on that, but we should learn much more than beyond cycling. There are lessons of cycling that should be taken to society. When people understand the real reason why we should cycle, I'm sure children and youngsters will be attracted more and more. Kerala actually should show an example to the entire country. We have shown several examples. We brought literacy for the first time, 100% literacy. We are a state with the largest number of libraries probably in the world. Every village has a library. We have decentralized administration to the panchayat level. We have created a model. Why can't we create a model in the case of cycling? Kerala should be the first state with maximum penetration of cycles into the society. Every child should be learning, man or woman, girl or boy, everybody should be cycling. That should be the, so after the Cyclotsav, we should all take cycling to villages, large numbers, create a cycling culture, a sustainable cycling culture as an objective of future Kerala. And that will definitely be taken up by the entire country. So let us let us pledge today in our Cyclotsav that we will be creating model of cycling, maximum cycles in the city. We'll start from Trivandrum, we'll gradually spread it to the entire Kerala and will become a model for the whole of the country. Thank you so much. I will now hand over to Deepa. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, KK. It was really an interesting session. You talked about how Kerala could be a role model by promoting cycling among the youngsters. Now we have another speaker, the executive member of Indus Cycling Embassy, Deepa Madam, who will take over the session.
Okay, thank you, KK. Thank you, Anubhav. So we are celebrating Cyclolsavam or Cycle Festival, and when we are in the land of, we can say, land of festivals, we have a lot of festivals. If we take the case of India, there are innumerable number of festivals, and all the festivals. If you look back into the history of these festivals mark it's a part of our culture. So it is, maybe it might be agriculture festivals, or it might be some other festival which marks some historical event. All of these festivals have some connection with our history, and history and culture. So the here we are hearing cycle also is a new festival that we have created now. So in this case, it is not a part of our culture, but we are marking, we can say we are building a new culture of cycling, which as KK has said, it's a culture of equality, it's a culture of sustainability, it's a culture of simplicity, as Mahatma Gandhi was always saying. It is a culture of simplicity also. So if we look into the modes of transport, cycling is the simplest way of transport, which if one person has to go from one point to other, and if it is possible by cycling, it is the most simplest and the most natural way to do that. Rather than having a big motor vehicle, one person traveling, and utilizing a lot of energy, making a lot of carbon footprints, polluting the atmosphere, and so on. So this culture, how I see the cyclosave is, we are creating a new culture of sustainability, a new culture of equality, a new culture of simple living, which is very important in this particular part of our in this particular era. Uh, and also, if we look back, actually, in our culture, cycling was there. If KK remembers, KK and Prakash may remember, there were in Kerala we had cycling was there in some events like cycle yajnas were there. Cycling yajna will be there. Sometimes it might be as a cultural event as part of some other festivals, or sometimes it might be some fundraising event. One person will be cycling continuously. I think it was mostly in the northern part of Kerala, cycling for continuously for 2 days or 3 days. So it was a big event. There will be newspapers. It will be the bit notices will be. It was not an era of social media. So in the small bit notices will be distributed, like cycle in one particular ground, and all the people will go around, they gather around, and it was the event of a particular village. So for the last many decades, it is not heard of. That also has faded away from our life. Cycle was also there in most of the houses. One cycle was there in most of the houses some 20-30 years back. That has also changed. So we need to come back to that culture, or else we need to build a new culture of cycling as a green way of life, as a simple way of life. We need to build up that culture. And KK was presenting the statistics, and it is surprising that the percentage of cycling penetration in India is very less compared to countries like China or other European countries. So, as KK has suggested, we need to take a bold step. Like Kerala can show an example. Like in many other cases, Kerala has taken bold steps and shown example to the country and even to the world. So Kerala can take an example, and as cycling. And one thing that makes me very happy is the fact that this cyclosave was the idea or initiative of a group of youngsters. So this group of youngsters can carry this forward, I'm sure. The goal that KK has set, we can set a new goal, and we can move towards that. It is possible. You have shown that by organizing this cycle also, you have shown that you started with a small thing. Now it has become national and even international. We had actually at present it was an international speaker who was speaking. Only because of technical difficulties he couldn't complete his speech. So it has become an international event, and a group of youngsters could make an international event by sitting in their houses and making use of this modern facilities. So it is possible. And if we look into the history of cycle, I have once read that when cycle was the person who first invented cycle, who made the first cycle. So while he demonstrated it in his village, people actually hit him with stones, and they were very angry with him because they thought it was there was some problem with this man. This man was mad, and they ran behind him and threw stones on him. So, but he was very determined. He knew that, he was very convinced that this is going to be a new invention that is going to change the world. And so, as we all know, it has started the history of the automobiles. It has started the new way of transportation, and it has changed the world. So to change a world, a single man can take a step, or a group of people can take a step. And I hope this group of youngsters can take a new bold step for making building a new culture for Kerala, building a new culture for India, and for the whole world, setting an example for the whole world. Anupa, I think I have some other session coming
Yes,
around.
Deepa madam, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, KK and Deepa madam, for the session in such a short notice. Now we conclude the session of 2:30 to 3 o'clock. Thank you, participants. Now we are moving on to the next session, which will begin from 3 o'clock to 3:30. We have the speaker with us. I am really privileged to introduce you to the speaker of the next hour, that is Pinky Jha, who is the bicycle mayor of Gandhinagar, Gujarat. I heartily welcome Pinky Jha madam to the Cyclolsavam Families Day 2nd. Pinky Jha ma'am, please.
Uh, Thank you so much. So can I start now?
Yes, madam, you may.
First of all, I don't know.
Indian
Such,
Excel
such
illa.
it's such a great event you guys are doing. I always say once again I have been saying there was a problem and there is still this virus is a problem. And out of this virus thing, you have turned.
Madam, I would like to interrupt. I request all the participants to keep their mic mute.
ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് എവിടുന്നാ കേൾക്കണേ ഇതിൽ നല്ല ഏതിന്
Yes, madam, you shall continue.
Thank you so much, Anubhav, for introducing me. And I congratulate the whole intercycling team for converting this problem into an opportunity. I never realized ever that this kind of a festival can be ever conducted virtually also. So this is the cycling festival which you guys are conducting, and considering the situation, but still we all are unstoppable. You have proved once again. So congratulations and thank you very much for inviting me here. Uh, so I would like to start my session. Of course, we all are talking about cycling. Cycling has become the new opportunity. COVID has taught us that this is the only solution of most of the problem or today exist. So do I have a right to share the screen? Can I share the screen?
Yes, yes, of
Yes,
course.
madam.
Okay, so I have made a PowerPoint presentation here, which I would like to share here. Well, there are many slides, but I would start with, people often ask, why do you cycle? I am 100% sure you all might have experienced the same question and again in your daily life. So when people ask, why do you cycle? We are like blank. Why do we cycle? So there are hundreds of reasons, technical, difficult, easy reason. There can be multiple reasons. But then my answer would be, I just came across with this article, which I would like to share here is, you ride because you love it. You ride because you need it. You ride because you want it. Sometimes you ride because you don't love or want or need, you just do it because that is what you do all the time. You ride because it helps your weight. You ride because it makes you well. You ride because you need the therapy. You ride because you need the escape. Escape in the sense, I'm not sure if you all have experienced the
Then
same. Probably you just want to run away from this situation for some time to get some fresh air and feel your wings, which you already have in the form of bicycle. So you ride because you need escape. You ride because she rides or he rides. You ride because he or she doesn't ride, or you ride because somebody is rising, or maybe they're not doing, so you're riding. And you ride because you love the earth. You ride because sometimes you don't like yourself. And tell me, can you ride faster when you get very angry? Have you experienced that one? Well, I'm asking question, I'm sure you are having answer in your mind. You ride because you kind of secretly enjoy the sharing the pains, and because you love taking an edge to get your birthday perfect. You ride because you love the sound of a free wheel. You ride because when the sunlight comes through the tree above and dapple the road, and the rays catches the spokes of your cycle, and almost think that you might just understand this introspective and essential unknowable universe. Now you ride because you need no language to be on bike with someone, someone look over to them and to smile and get back the same smile. And you ride because the bike is a language. You ride because no one who does not ride can fully understand why the hell you ride. Once again, the question. You ride because this is our brotherhood and togetherhood. You ride because you miss the hurt. You ride because you don't fit in anywhere else, probably. One day, for miss 1 week of a ride, whatever distance it is, you will feel you don't fit in anywhere else. You ride because you dared once a dream and you don't ever want to stop. Well, there are hundred more of reason why do you want to write. A few we could note down here is, so you write because you fell in love with the most beautiful and most epic, the most furious, the most poetic, romantic, brutal also, soul destroying sports of all time. You write because this is the love affair of human with machine, and it's one toy from childhood we get to keep, that grown men and women still get to play with all over the world, no matter how old, no matter what culture or race we are from. So you write because it's the thing that gave you the freedom to love your neighborhood and to explore the world around. You write because you still feel the same rush, the same freedom, the same breathe, or sheer and unadulterated life. You write because the bike connects you to you. And you ride because you are you. And you ride because you just ride. So this was the thought about riding. Why do we ride? So the session doesn't just end here. This was just a beginning. The last few slides I shared here. So now we are talking about the cycling. Cycling is just not limited to get on your cycle and pedal. Now, after five years of my cycling career, I have experienced now cycling is just not about pedaling anymore. We are talking about urban cycling. We are talking about a lifestyle, and we are talking about a cycle for change, cycle for future, cycle for everyone. So, and now we live in urban society, we live in society, we live in the cities with lot of traffic, cities with lots of rules and regulation, which we are following, which we bound to follow because we expect someone to follow the same rules and regulation, and we are bound to follow the same. So me, I Pinky Jha, bicycle mayor of Gandhinagar, thanking you all for inviting me here and welcome you all in my session. So let me talk about some points and few very important points of urban cycling. This morning, I heard the session conducted by Pooja, bicycle mayor of Jaipur, and I remember a few lines she was talking about the shared space. We are sharing the road. We actually, I don't know whether I can say and whether you all agree that we are able to share the road or not. But we as a cyclist, when I say we as a cyclist, we definitely have the right to share the same road. So while going on the road, I cannot, or we all cannot just own the road. I've seen one quote someone was writing on her behind, that you only own your car, you don't own the road. So the same way, we only own our cycle, we don't own the road. We, as a cyclist, we always look for some kind of probably the empathy, or maybe people should notice us. We try to make noise all the time, which is right. I'm sure which is right. But then we also have to follow some kind of a rules and regulation. So we cannot like, in today's situation probably we cannot really expect the roadblocks, or when we are riding, the whole world or the whole traffic scenario should stop. So why not the concept of shared space? So shared space can be in the form of, the philosophy behind shared space is to deregulate the traffic and integrate instead of segregate. Instead of having this is my lane, this is your lane, why can't we have a space where maybe for 2 hours the cyclist is maybe the owner of the road, or I own the road for 2 hours, maybe in the morning hours when there is a cycle, when there is a school time. So this road is probably dedicated for the school going children, and on at the office time that road can be open for office. So we are not actually regulating the traffic, but then we are sharing the space here. So this creates more mutual awareness among the road users. We all are road users. Road is being used by the motor vehiclist, or the cyclist, or the person who are walking, or some hawkers, or everyone. When we look into the today's India's situation, almost every cities of the country. So this will also create mutual awareness, and no one feels the ownership or insight on having the right of way in the urban space. So traffic flow is based on being alert to other road users, on eye contact and negotiation, and is slower but more flexible. While riding a bicycle in the morning, when we talk about the eye contact, I'm 100% sure if you look into the person, a driver, car driver, you would understand if this guy is going to stop or not. So we can decide exactly what whether we as a cyclist should stop or go ahead. So it will create a lot of goodwill probably, and also a lot of awareness among the road users. So my next slide is talking about dedicated cycle track. The whole world, or the full nation right now, is shouting about we need to have a dedicated cycle lane or cycle track in our city, everywhere, the cycle highway or the cycle track. This is definitely a great idea. Basically, we are trying to copy a scene or the idea from European world, we must say. But then, yes, I am going. What I want to say here is, first of all, let's talk about this dedicated cycle track. So, cycling infrastructure can be developed according to the different principles, looking into the different cycling scenario in the city. Existing infrastructure is often fine, which is all right, of course, but let's leave it aside for a moment and take a look at the cycling solution based on a general principle. And what is that principle? The cycle route which can be seen from the road. For example, if you look into the slide, the color of the track is different. So if the motor vehicle a guy is passing from here, would clearly understand this is the cycle track, I'm not supposed to go here. And a great sense of security. Look at this. even if it is a different color, probably we have some cycle track already in our city, but then instead of these cycle track used by the cyclists, this is getting used for the parking space of the scooter or the hawkers or the auto rickshaw. Or once a auto rickshaw has entered on this track, there is no way to get out. If you see this situation, so we do have, and our neighbor city Ahmedabad has a cycle track, dedicated cycle track, but as I say, it is not being used by a cyclist. Basically, it is not in a condition to use by a cyclist. So sense of, and same way, so the motor vehicle should not enter from here if we have this kind of a, the bar to protect that this is the cycle track. So advantage is no one can enter from the middle, but the disadvantage is if someone has entered by mistake or purposely, there's no way to get out. When the cycle route is hidden away from other road users, cyclists tends to feel more threatened. If this part and this part looks same, there's no difference between, I mean, we won't be able to really understand which is the cycle track. So these are the very important things we are discussing right now in urban cycling. At fast moving moped can be a problem on cycle track with their own layout, like I just said. Instead of auto rickshaw, it can be a moped or a two-wheeler or anything. So the marking, the color, or the kind of facility we have with the technology, we can use it. So as here in my third slide, as the picture says, usually we have a red, green, orange signals. I proposed here in Gandhinagar, if we can have this kind of a signal system for cyclists, everyone would understand now cyclists can go. I'm sure we all are following, obeying all the traffic rules. When everyone is stopping at the signal, even cyclists are stopping. We don't have any special consideration, although we do expect some time, but then this can be a great idea. Once again, it will be our right to share, it will be our right to go. So introducing new lane that would try to improve cyclist safety by allowing them to ride through the red light and stop sign. But then friends, in my earlier slide, before I was discussing about this cycle track, I was saying, I heard one of my bicycle friends saying, cycle track, these are the luxury. This is the luxury, if not today, tomorrow we will get because of our effort, because of our shout outs. But then what about the mentality of people? We 45 bicycle mayor across the nation and thousand and lakhs of cyclists in all over the nation are trying and fighting for our rights. What exactly we need to do, and I'm sure we all are working towards the change of the mentality of non-cyclist or even the cyclist. We need to make people understand that this is not the poor man's machine. This is our right. So cycle track, if it doesn't matter if we have a cycle track, no, it's not going to matter much, I'm sure. But if the mentality changes, if we all will get the same respect what we deserve and what we are asking for, cycle track would come in very next stage. This is what I wanted to say. Yeah. Now, next point I would like to discuss here is traffic traffic calming. Now, if you see a narrow road where or the turn, motor vehicle or a car driver will just zoom up the car. And wherein if the road is narrow and if there is a turn, we have to be extra careful. The major problem for cyclist safety is when driver try to pass cyclists. I'm sure you all might have experienced this for sure. On the stretches with a narrow traffic lane or in the mixed traffic. It may be necessary to calm motor vehicle down in narrow area for the sake of work site safety as well as the traffic safety. We can have this kind of a bump to calm down the traffic. And some traffic calming measure can be the speed limit sign, as you can see here in this picture. Physical traffic calming measures such as a removable screw. I don't know if it is going to be possible here in near future or not, but then we can definitely dream of something extraordinary, or the speed bump made by loose asphalt or rubbers. Now, under certain circumstances, cycling speed should be calmed, for example, by installing a speed bump, even for cyclists, because nowadays speed cycling has become a real fashion and trend. Now, let us talk about a major problem for the commuters. Why people does not like to take their cycles to work? I'm sure you all have hundreds of answers for this. Or many if viewers, people are watching us, listening. I ask this question: why people does not like to take the cycle to work? Why they don't want to take their ride their bicycle to work, or for the maybe for the meeting or some other purpose? You can look at the two pictures which I'm trying to show here is a major I have not mentioned here that thing. What is the major problem? Is a parking problem. In right now we are talking about cycle, but then if we talk about even the car or the very luxurious motor vehicle in the cities like Mumbai, people are afraid of taking their car or any other their private vehicle somewhere, because there is no place to park their motor vehicle. Think about the cycle. If we park here our bicycle, I don't know, maybe 20-25 minutes it will take to find out which is our bicycle and to take it out. So bicycle parking is a major issue. It's a very big problem. Cycles are also getting stolen. People are taking away cycles. So bicycle can be parked anywhere if you look for the solution. Leaning against a wall, or attached to a post, or this is how exactly we park, right? We just keep our bicycles somewhere. So here, if I'm going to the bank, so my bicycle is just outside the bank. However, with a large number of bicycle, and situation becomes very messy and confused. So this is no longer practical and a safe for cyclists, and it turns into a physical and visual nuisance in public space. So this is in turn many discourage bicycle use and turn opinion against the cycling. I don't want to take my bicycle to work because it is very unsafe, or it takes a lot of time to take out my bicycle from a public parking. So now, in the cycling is now the fastest growing, which we have been almost everybody's been talking about this mode of transport in several cities and towns. I just showed this slide just to leave a question in your mind. We will come up with the solution. Now, our cities have become more congested and polluted. We all agree here. Our pollution level is becoming less active and suffering the health consequences. The benefits of more people cycling for everyday transport include more bike parking, because it sends the message that biking is possible, normal, and supported. And it makes bike use more visible and convenient, of course. I always say, if my office is at the 5 kilometer of a distance, cycle will reach faster than the car, and you all know the reason why. Make bike parking easy to ask for, easy to implement, easy to find, and very easy to use. Now, the requirements of a good bicycle parking, which we discuss a major problem, why people does not want to take their bicycle to work or other commute purpose. So bicycle parking facility, if we talk about, it is very much essential. And what are the requirements? Location should be correct. Maybe the school area or the marketplace or the common bicycle parking area we can have, and it should be a comfortable in parking. visible and understandability. It should be visible if someone unknown person is riding on the route, the signboard or the information about the parking, people can understand this is the parking. This is the shared parking place. It should be safe and secure, should be easily available, it should be well maintained, and definitely the respect for cyclists. It should be placed correctly. The what we are talking right now here, bicycle is definitely important part, that we have been talking, but right now we are talking about is bicycle uh, parking, parking facility. It should be placed correctly. They should be placed close to the destination as possible and with the least deviation. Like if we are going somewhere and the parking is at the other side of the road, what do we do? So it should be placed correctly and comfortable. There should be easy access to the parking facility, not merely measure in meters, for, I mean, just not measured, but also measured in comfort. If it is going to be comfortable in parking, and if I try to take out after my work, is it going to be easy to take it out? Ideally, it should be possible to cycle all the way up to the facility. Facilities with many space should have services like maybe changing room. I don't know if I'm talking too much here, expected too much of expectation. Changing room or the air pump and the numbers, color, etc. we can uh, make use of. It should be visible from the far. Differentiation, if this is the bicycle parking or any other parking, maybe secure and safe. Available, the number of space should match the number of users. If there are 10 places to park, all the 10 places should be visible. Available. It should be well maintained, like the continuous cleaning or so if it is important, continuous cleaning and removal of wrongly placed or abandoned bicycle. Respect for cyclists, we are talking all the time. More than just a parking facility. Now, if you see today's situation, when before the corona, I must say, before the corona time, when you used to go for the cycle for fitness, like Sunday cycling, after the ride, cyclists will gather together, have a long tea session, talk about the experience and chit chat. So, more than just a parking facility, we can really expect some good urban space, good pedestrian accessibility. So even if we have to cross the road, it should be available. And job creation for the unemployed who can be put to work, tidying up the bicycle parking. Let's look at the cycle rack. Definitely, this is the Google picture, but doesn't seem impossible. A rack is one of the most economical short-term bicycle parking problem. If you see in the schools today, many school or the institutions have these kind of a parking facility where we can park our bicycle, lock it, secure it. An effective bike rack with a U-lock or different kind of lock systems are available, support the bike upright by its frame. Bike parking facility can have a bike locker where you can secure your bike. Nowadays, if we have this high-end bike, we don't like to take it everywhere except riding for fitness or for the endurance riding because of the parking issues. Now, look at this sharing bicycle parking space. This is what I was talking about. So we have a facility to park our bicycle. At the same time, a change room or the shower room, because the major issue for someone to ride to work is I'm going to be stinky. It's going to be very sweaty while I ride to work, and the whole day I have to be in the same clothes or I have this meeting, etc. So we can have the changing facility and bike a locker system also. Like we have a multi-level car parking, we can also have a multi-level bike parking. So these are the few points I wanted to discuss here. Something different than the benefits of cycling. Why do we cycle and all that? Now, as I said, cycling is just not about pedaling anymore, because we are trying to be the change maker, and we want to make the change, and we expect the whole society, the whole nation to follow the rules. We should be one among them who should start following the rule first. So if I follow, I will have a right to ask, please follow. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to express myself. And if someone wants to ask me anything, I'm right here.
Thank you, Pinky Madam. That was indeed a great innovative session with a lot of ideas about cycling and ways to promote cycling, and how the cities are coming up with various initiatives to promote cycling among the people. So now, if any participant has any questions, they may use the chat box. Any queries, any opinions, the participants shall ask through the chat box. Madam, meanwhile, as a part of Cyclolsavam 2020, we are organizing several competitions for people in 4 different categories, and thus we request from on behalf of the Cyclolsavam family, I request you to reveal the topic of the photography contest, and
Oh,
I request the host to make the presentation available. Madam, you can see the topic. I request you to read it out for the participants.
okay. So photography topics are for the kids below 4 years is people and cycle. I love this topic. Sub junior, this classification class 5 to 8 year is once again people and cycle. For junior class 9 to 12, life or livelihood on cycle. Well, this is very interesting topic. We should be considered even above for the senior college student also, life or livelihood on cycles. Well, cycle is just not about commuting, like we said, and a lot of ideas and creative things we were talking about. But then, yes, cycle can also be a career, and how cycle can be used as a livelihood. It can be a different reason, even to create the employment, or youngsters can take cycle as a career. Cyclists can take up cycle as a career, can be a means of earning. So I think we should have some special session on that. Uh, Cycle on a livelihood. But then yes, this is the photography topics. So let's come up with the beautiful photographs, guys, and express yourself as much as you can. And I'm
Thank you,
sure
ma'am.
everyone is going to be the winner for sure.
Thank you, ma'am. So, photography contestants, please note these are the topics for the same. You will be notified through the WhatsApp group and the registered email. Please go through the rules and regulations brochure for more details. If you have any doubts, please do contact the respective coordinators for further details. Thank you, ma'am, for the interesting session. In the previous session, we had an international speaker, but unfortunately, he had a poor connection, so he has forwarded a recorded audio. So I request the host to make the arrangement. Before we play the audio, let me give a short introduction of whose audio it is. It is the bicycle mayor from Botswana, who is an international speaker. It's M. Mafi Madubo, who has represented in the Vision Zero for Africa conference early in December this year. Sir has been supporting Cyclolsam from the beginning itself, and now let's hear what he has to say regarding cycling.
Good afternoon to all of you. It is an honor to be given an opportunity to be part of the team of speakers at this great event. It is indeed a great privilege to be one of the pioneers in cycling development, having joined the Bicycle Mayor Leadership Network that is based in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Let me start off by apologizing for I've had a challenge in terms of internet connectivity. Tried to send through a video recording. It didn't go through. And this audio is the last resort to basically be in touch and get through my message.
Prakashji, is that audio completed? Sorry for the interruption. I think there is a technical error.
Cycling in the youth. Indeed, youth are leaders of tomorrow. But this leadership cannot be suspended until tomorrow. Leadership needs to be nurtured from even this early stage. And there's a saying that says, practice makes perfect. And I'm here today to challenge not only the youth, but all of us to exercise that leadership in preparation for the future that we are headed to. So then, as indicated, my address is about cycling as a vehicle for the future. So to tie this to leadership, it means appreciating the value of cycling and doing all that we can to ensure that we contribute to that future that we are looking forward to. So that in time when we look back over the years, we'll be proud of what we have achieved. Why do I say cycling is a vehicle of change, vehicle for change, a vehicle for the future? Cycling is known as the healthiest mode of transport. To get the best of this life, like we all know, we need to be healthy. Cycling gives us, therefore, the minimum daily dose of the physical activity. I cycle not for sports, but to get from point A to B. Today's challenges, especially for the younger generation, is sedentary lifestyles caused by sitting behind computers, sitting behind televisions, limited playing spaces, and of course the pride of parents with big SUVs picking and dropping their children at school. The lack of exercise has adverse impacts on the health of the children going into the future, and it predisposes them to non-communicable diseases. One of the critical factors that is killing people today in relation to this COVID-19 is pre-existing conditions. And cycling is that antidote that can help secure our future, a healthy future. They say prevention is better than cure, and cycling is the best and easiest prevention for non-communicable diseases. Cycling is the most environmentally friendly mode of transport amongst all. The only planet that supports life is none other than Mother Earth. Climate change and global warming are a result of us, human activity, that destroyed the ozone layer from air pollutants. Transportation contributes about 20 to 25% of carbon emissions. Every one of us has a duty to protect this planet. If we hope for our future generations to enjoy life here on Earth, we need to do something. We can do this by each managing their individual carbon footprint. And there's no better way to do that than cycling. Cycling is the cheapest mode of transport. Apart from poverty, cycling is the cheapest mode of transport for all compared to driving and even public transport. To help support humanity, we need to address the problem of greed and pride amongst us by sharing the little we have with our brothers and sisters that are not so fortunate. It is only when we live modest lives that we can be able to share what we have. To also build wealth, we need to create savings, and it is in this modest and sustainable living lifestyle that we can secure a brighter future for all. Cycling is not only cheaper for individuals, it is also cheaper for societies and governments in a number of ways, which is not only in relation to buying a bicycle or maintenance, but cost of provision of infrastructure, reduction of the disease burden, and ultimately the reduction in the health bill for the country or provinces or cities. There are many other benefits that I could talk about, but my message to you is that cycling, as humble as it is the best. Don't ever feel inferior in any way to people in big cars. Don't allow them to intimidate you. Some of the people don't have peace due to death, and this leads some to develop non-communicable diseases because of depressions caused by living beyond their means. It's not that I hate cycling. I mean, it's not that I hate cars. I have some. Two, to say the least. But I drive when going outside the city, within the urban context, a radius of 2 kilometers to as much as 10, 15 kilometers. On a daily basis, I cycle to work for about 20 kilometers round trip, 10 kilometers to 10 kilometers back. And that's how I maintain my health. And my medical bill is also small. But nonetheless, I do have a car. If I need to carry something heavy, of course, I'll need a car. But the best way of using a car is as the need is, and not for fun, as some of us would tend to take it. The fun is in the bicycle. So I plead with you to love the bicycle. Plan your life, starting now for the youth, and make a decision to live sustainably. Cycle every day, cycle everywhere, and then you can be sure to have a great life. Thank you very much for the opportunity to listen to me. God bless.
That was an indeed a great session which we missed live, but it's okay. Now that is the end of the session. Thank you, participants, and there is a request to the photography contest participants. The topics has been revealed. Your time starts ticking, and please go through the rules and regulations and abide to them, and send your entries to the above said email ID. Now, after this session, we will be having 4:30 to 5 o'clock a session handled by the film director of Guppy and Ambali, that is John Paul George. And then we will have the daily quiz in which the participants can attend and will receive, after attending the questions, they will receive the participation certificate And in the end of the day, we have the 7 to 9 p.m. screening of a film. That's it. Thank you, participants for the coordination, and the speakers, Pinky Ja madam and Emma Fee sir. Thank you all.
Vivek, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Hello, sir. Can I? Am I audible now?
Ah,
Hello.
yes, sir. You're audible.
Yeah. Thank you for, inviting me to say a few words. This is a wonderful initiative you all have created, and this whole festival, and it is indeed like we have a film festival. Now it's a bicycle festival. So this is something totally unheard of in India, at least, and really hats off and kudos to all of you, and keep the good work going. And very, very, very nice message from the bicycle mayor of Gandhinagar, Pinky Jha, and a wonderful message, audio recorded message. We got a lot of new insights, and let us continue our journey and make cycling a popular means of transport. And we are all for it. Thank you very much. All the best to all of you.
Thank you, Vivek sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you, sir.
I think Pinky has to want to say something.
I want to say, Anubhav, you're awesome speaker. Huh? You're a great host. I've been watching you.
Thank you, Pinky ma'am.
I don't know if it is a like the inherited talent or you have practiced so much, but you are amazing.
Thanks a lot, madam.
No, he doesn't practice at all.
No, oh, so that is a talent.
Thank you, Pinky ma'am. It was a great session you had, ma'am. We are lucky to have you. And the cycle enthusiasts, it is a great event ahead. We have a cycling movie Ambali, and who directed the director of the cycle movie Ambali will be with us from 4:30 to 5 o'clock. It is a humble request that all the cycle enthusiasts do participate and make the session interactive and attractive. Thank you all. That is the end of the session. Thank you all for the cooperation.
Thank you.
Chillele.